Welcome to Burnout, Business and Body, the podcast that inspires to take care of yourself, your life, and 3 powerful ways.
Hi, I'm Nicole Lawton, your stress management health recovery coach, and I'm here to help you slow down, reconnect, and rediscover the peace that lives beneath the pressure through educating and sharing my experiences.
I'm Belinda Smith, your business leadership and team coach, here to show you how to grow a business that supports your life and your team and builds cohesion, which leads to greater connections and healthy profit.
And I'm Sabina, your performance coach. I teach you strategies and shortcuts to work with your body instead of against it, so you can not only get more done in less time, but you will optimize your energy and performance from the inside out. If you like our content, please subscribe, follow, or share.
Amazing. And together we'll explore how burnout, business and body all connect and show how small shifts in each of these areas can make big changes in your energy, your work and your life. Today's topic. Sabina, would you like to introduce our topic?
So today we're talking you don't have to heal by trying harder. You heal by actually feeling safe. And this is Nicole's speciality. So I'm really excited because I think despite how much healing we've all done, there's still lots of work we can do. I'm sure our listeners will agree. And so I'm very excited about this topic.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nicole, for enlightening us.
This one's a good one. It's been the massive aha moment. Because one of the biggest things I've noticed in stress and burnout recovery is that we all talk a lot about the healing, but we don't talk enough about the safety. And the reality is that if we don't feel safe, we won't get vulnerable. And that's why it's really important, because the body doesn't move towards change. It's not going to go there just because we're thinking it. So it won't grow and it won't heal until it feels safe enough to do so. And so I felt like this was a topic that really needed to be discussed. And it goes through, picking the right coach or the right therapist or the right whatever, because if you need to feel safe with that person in order for you to get the most out of it. And so it's trusting that they know what they're doing, that you feel safe enough to share. And when you do, then so much magic can happen, because you will really let go and you will really open up and be vulnerable. And that's where a lot of people get stuck in their healing journeys or asking for help because they don't want to do it. It's not that they don't want to do it. They don't feel safe enough to do it. So many people then end up trying to heal from a place of pressure and urgency. I've got to get healed because I've got to get this done. And, or that self-criticism or whatever, and then they wonder why nothing sticks, So it's one of those topics that I thought needed to be brought to light.
So what do you mean when you say like feeling safe within? When you speak about feeling safe within, what does that mean?
Yeah, good question. Because, most people wouldn't even really understand that, I'm sure. And I certainly didn't when I was doing this work. So when I talk about feeling safe within, I'm not talking about life being super calm all the time or stress-free or anything like that. I'm talking about that internal sense of not being so ready to brace the impact all the time, that's so switched on feeling that we feel, not needing to constantly push and perform and stay on that high alert. It's for many people who've lived with the long-term stress or burnout, that internal safety hasn't been there for a really long time. So it's normalized. It's actually normalized. They think they're safe.
And I suppose even ever, right?
Potentially, they've never known it. And it's finding, I used to have this saying where it's finding that calm amongst the storm. Like the storms are going to happen. That's a guaranteed. They say what deaths and taxes are a guarantee in life. Well, so are challenges. And the only thing is that when we receive it, we're going through a challenge, the only thing we can control is how we move through that challenge. And we're not going to find them so challenging the safer we feel, because we have a different perspective when we're feeling safer and calmer within. So, so, their systems have always learnt that being on is how to survive. So safety isn't something they're missing because they've never done anything wrong. It's not you're doing it wrong. There is no such thing. You've just learnt that that's how you survive. And it's something that the body has never been conditioned to experience yet, that safety. So it just takes you back to, we just only know what we know, in those moments. And I remember a time in my own life when being rushed felt normal, having constantly a full head, the tight shoulders, always thinking about the next thing. That was just my baseline. And I feel like, well, I don't feel like, I know, I see it time and time again, like it's in everyone. The baseline is so stressed out, and that has been normalized to this is how it is in life. And so how can you feel safe in that environment? You don't even know you're feeling unsafe.
It's a great point.
So, Yeah.
You've got to be able to detect it, I guess, sometimes. Yeah.
But you're not going to do that unless you're able to be able to, find that peace to find out how you're feeling.
So help us understand. So why is safety so important for healing and recovery? Why is it such a priority when you are sort of taking time to heal and recover? Like, why is it so important?
Yeah, well, it's important because the body let me get my words today, prioritizes protection before anything else. So it's hardwired to protect us. And if the nervous system still perceives a threat, whether it's pressure or judgment or instability or just simple overload, that it will just stay in survival mode. It's not going to do anything else. So healing isn't something you can force with willpower. You just can't think yourself out of it. It's something that the body also has to feel and allow us to feel safe enough to do that. So that's why people can understand their patterns that they do intellectually. When you've been doing a bit of healing, you sort of go, oh, that's why I do that and that. But then why am I still stuck here? Why is it still happening? It's because the body hasn't caught up, and that's because you're still not feeling safe enough to allow the body to catch up.
Right.
And I hope I'm being clear.
You are. And what sorry, I'm jumping in, but like what I really love that you mentioned is perceived stress, because stress is so individual.
Yes.
It's what was stressful for one person may not be stressful for another, and it is about perceived stress. Someone might say, "Oh, well, you don't have a stressful life." How do they know? They're not. Stress is. It's true.
100%.
Right?
We don't know what's happening behind closed doors at all. And how we function and how we adapt and how we cope with things. Like, there's no wrong or right. It's just what is safe and unsafe, what's healed and not healed. It's in that journey, and it is our perceived. And it's like that thing with trauma. Gabor Mate speaks of this, of, the big T's and the little T's. Well, the big T's are your big events, right? But we are all living with little T's, little stresses as well, each and every day, that become big. And that's what we're not getting a chance to slow down and witness within ourselves. And so therefore we don't perceive ourselves to be unsafe or feeling unsafe. But as soon as someone gives us a judgment, or we felt judged, or there's a threat coming at us, or an insecurity, bang, boom, our body goes in, yep, high alert, high alert. And it can be triggered very easily depending on where people's nervous systems are sitting. You know, and if you're feeling safe,
Yeah, well,
you know, you're actually not going to perceive it as that threat, or that judgment can roll off your back because you actually know yourself, you feel safe enough, and you've got that clarity. We can't have clarity in unsafety, can we?
well, no. But why do so many people try to heal without addressing safety first?
So again, yeah, that's brilliant. But it goes to, I don't think anyone has even thought of it. Like they don't see themselves as feeling unsafe. I've got this, you know, they've been telling themselves through all the threats, I've got this, I can do this, you know, push through. So they don't actually perceive themselves as being unsafe, but also, and that's the conditioning that we've been to believe. That healing means effort as well, you know, doing more work on yourself, fixing what's wrong, stay positive, push forward, push through all the discomfort. However, if someone has spent years in survival mode, even healing can feel like another stressful demand. And so the body can resist to that. Yeah. And so it's not all about, I'll go get healed and you'll be fine. Like it really, this really unifies the mind, body, and soul together, right? You know, like that is the one thing, and it takes all these little parts and they all have to be working together. And, you know, it's not because someone's lazy, it's not because they're unmotivated, but because their system doesn't feel safe enough to do the change. And the resistance is often the protection. It's not failure. You know, and we can always get into our heads about, oh, look at you, you've done all this healing, but here we are again.
And that's a really important distinction.
Really important, and it's just not talked about enough, you know. And I have lived this experience.
That distinction that you said.
Which one? That it's not failure, it's protection.
Yeah, well, you're just saying about, you know, it's not failure, right? No. And that's really important, I think, because especially when people are in stress, is they see it as, and that failure then becomes more stress.
Yeah.
And it adds to the fuel to the fire of the stress. So it's a really important distinction you made there. Yeah. So talking about, you know, like burnout and that, so how does it show up specifically in burnout recovery?
So in burnout, the body has often, so in a situation where you've completely burnt out, the body has often learnt that rest is not safe. They've actually learnt it. So slowing down is not safe, and being less productive is not safe. Like the narrative, the conditioning has been do more, be more. You know, you can't, if you're going to be lazy, you know, and it's not. That slowing down is what is really needed to actually learn to feel safe and bring us down. That high alert, we're not meant to live in that. That's only for when we're in absolute stress of threat, and that happens when we're highly stressed. So when you're living in that high level of stress, you're never getting that opportunity to feel like the resting is safe, that the slowing down is safe, or that if you're not as productive, then that's okay, you know?
Because it doesn't sound natural. It's a paradox, right?
Yeah, very much so. And that's why the burnout recovery can feel really confusing. Yeah. Very unnatural, because the programming we've all been programmed to do is what, in order to heal, we have to unlearn it and relearn the new way forward because it's not working. You know, the pushing through will never work. You can sit there and think positive about your health and it's not going to work. There is the things that you need to do, and it's all the unlearning of the programs to then relearn what is right for you and your body, and safety is the way forward. So until you can feel safe, you won't release anything. You won't let go. You won't make the changes. You won't take the different actions you need to take in order for you to recover, you know. And these go for the health conditions as well as the emotional stuff. You know, it's all of it. It's all of it. You know, I'm sure, Belinda, you could relate that to business.
Yeah, this just reminds me of a pyramid. I'll just grab my my notes here, and it's hard to sort of show on screen, but I talk to clients around a pyramid, and it absolutely falls into all of our categories. And the pyramid starts on the bottom with experiences, and then it moves up to beliefs, actions, and at the top is results. And so it generally is that if our experiences stay the same, then our beliefs will be the same, our actions and our results won't change. By changing the bottom of the pyramid, by changing the experiences, we can shift the belief, produce new actions, and potentially the result changes. Well, not potentially, I shouldn't say potentially. The result will change.
The result will change.
This magical pyramid, yeah, that's right. And the experiences, you know, we talk about doing things over. Yeah, we're doing things over and over again and getting the same result, and we continue to press repeat. It's not healthy. It's not helpful.
It's quite
and
toxic.
So I think in this case, you've got to do something different, and you know, to change that outcome. It's really powerful.
Really, really is.
So what do people then say, I know what to do, but I can't do it?
Well, it really follows on from what you've said. This is one of the most common things I hear. And it was something that I sat with personally myself going, well, I know what to do, but, you know, I'm here still and I'm not, like, why can't I move forward, and what that is. And it's just such an important thing that awareness without safety can actually be really frustrating. And so we do need that level of awareness. We need to gain that level of awareness so we know what to change. We need the level of awareness of what's causing, you know, where the root cause might be, and what belief systems we came up with, and what patterns and strategies we implement in life. Those patterns and those strategies and those belief systems, they were all made up in our subconscious mind. Sorry. Did you say something?
Oh, no, I was just saying, you know, pointing out.
Did you say something?
I was just saying about awareness without safety.
Oh, wrote it down,
too.
yeah. So
in sync, girls.
We are. So, you know, once we've gained that awareness of the beliefs that we have that are not working for us, and the patterns on how we do that belief, and the strategies of how we do it, all of that is designed to keep us safe. We've made those strategies and those patterns, and they're just to keep us safe. So when we realize that they're not working for us, and we can actually learn to feel safe within ourselves, that's when the power comes in to go, okay, well, this isn't working, so I'm going to not do that, and I'm going to believe this. I'm going to change that pattern to a more positive pattern. I'm going to, you know, take on a different strategy, and that's what moves the needle forward. And then you will get the results from that. You know, it's simple. But if you don't feel safe to even explore the root causes of things, then, and be that vulnerable in my work, you know, people are incredibly vulnerable. So, you know, it is really important to me, and therefore my client, that they feel so safe with me to be able to open up and share with me what they want. The more they can deep dive into themselves, then the more they'll get out of it for themselves and more empowered, and let go of a lot of baggage that they've never needed to carry with them, but, didn't know how to process things otherwise. And you can understand your stress patterns, your boundaries, your needs. And then if your body doesn't feel safe letting go of the old strategies, then they all come with you still. And that's where you get stuck. So it's not about, you need to have that safety to be able to gain the knowledge you need, see how you're doing everything, and then make a conscious decision to then let's change it, let's do something else and move forward. But you will only do that in a level of safety, and your nervous system has to catch up with that. And so, I'm working with a client at the moment. We had a beautiful conversation the other day, and that it was like, oh, can I do weekly sessions? And the reality is, yes, you can. However, this particular client and what her needs are won't be conducive to a weekly session because her body needs to take the time to process what's gone in that one session. So the fortnight would be better for them. But as we move into the healing journey and she's gotten more into the process, then at some point it may be able to speed up. But to begin with, we need to take it a little bit slower while she's getting used to the way it works. So, I'm very much on creating that safe place. And, you're only going to be, how many times do you feel like, even with your friends sometimes, and they don't mean it, they're doing the best that they can do, but they'll try and highlight the positives in your life instead of just holding that space where you could feel safe to actually have the conversation that you need to say. I don't need you to fix it. I don't need you to do anything for me. All I need is you to be a safe place for me to just be able to speak my truth. And then if I shed a tear, give me a hug and let's have another cuppa and move on. You know what I mean? Like, and none of us have got that time, but more and more people, our world is so fast paced that the people are not able to have it, or they've got so many challenges in their own lives that no one's got capacity. And so a lot of people are not feeling safe. And if they don't feel safe within themselves, they're not going to be able to hold space for anyone else. So, yeah, I hope this is...
I'm reminded by Maslow's
hierarchy of needs.
Sorry, I'm reminded by Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Safety is the number one requirement.
Yep.
It sits as the pillar, the foundation of everything. And as I learn more and more about this with you ladies and educating myself, I never would have thought it would be the most informative pillar. And I continue to be very excited by learning and ensuring that safety is in the workplace and psychological safety at work, and how we bring that into our homes. So I really appreciate the learnings so much.
And it's as simple as, just a few to finish off. Like people are probably, but how do you do it? It is literally slowing down. It is literally just closing the eyes, taking some deep breaths in, and just giving yourself that permission to stop and check in. What do I need right now in this moment, And that is so simple. It takes a couple of minutes. And if you're able to do it, throughout the day a number of times, it will just become an automatic thing. And I recently got to work with a colleague of mine who's an equine therapist, and we had uni students come, and they were accountants, and they're going to be dealing with people's money, you know, and what fears most people is their finances. So accountants or people who are doing, you know, they need to feel like that's a threatening situation to begin with, right? So when you meet with someone who's in that kind of, you know what I mean? You want to feel like with them that they've got you, that they're a safe place, and that you can trust and have that thing to then be handing over your information, right? So it's no different, but they also have to be that safe place. So everyone needs to be doing this work for themselves, no matter what career you're in. But the safer you feel within you, the more you can hold that space for others as well. And that will go through many people's careers, that they need to show up like that. Not just the friendship circles or whatever, you know, like obviously we know that we need to be that for our clients. And, you know, that's an extremely pivotal part of our role, is that we've got that safe place to offer our clients to be able to explore their needs.
What does this mean really for people who want to prevent burnout, not just recover from it, but prevent it, like so they can make the changes now? Everyone's so overwhelmed. Like, what can they do just to start preventing it rather than even getting to that stage?
Yeah, so is gaining the awareness of where they might feel safe and when they might feel, so that's kind of just highlighting to themselves, oh, I felt really unsafe in that experience. But it's that internal pause. That is it. I know I've said it before, and I know you understand, Sabina, as well, in the work you do.
What do you, but I mean, for our listeners, like, I mean, could you, internal pause, I remember, what would you say is internal pause?
It's taking that time out and just shutting the world out and being able to relax, giving yourself permission to take that 5-minute relaxation where you can actually just take yourself off, find a quiet space, close your eyes and just really allow some breaths in, breaths out. It's a simple reset instantly for your nervous system, and anyone can do it at any time of the day. In fact, I mean, you know, especially for the corporate people as well, and people in their high functioning careers where they've got the deadlines or they're troubleshooting something and it can't move forward. You know, you can't move forward in it. You're getting stuck on the same answer and it's not the correct one. You might need to go off for a walk, you know, go.
So I see that so often. It's just so simple. It's so simple that break the state, go into a different place to have a bit of a reset, come back, and all of a sudden you've got
the new
clarity.
Ideas.
But I think it's that, like you said, is, you know, finding that internal pause and giving it a name.
And giving it a name, yeah. Yeah. And it might sound it is simple and it sounds simple, but putting that into action in your busy daily life, that's where people might struggle to do that. And it's just being really conscious and being very mindful that this is an appointment. So sometimes it's really good to diarize it in your and get little alerts of 5-minute break. You know, just so that they can go, you know, yep, I need one now. No, I don't. Or, you know, whatever of I've just got to check in with me because I'm going to lose it and I don't want to lose it, you know, like it's, you know, and then when you do that.
And being aware of what losing it is, you know, being aware, because, you know, for business owners out there, there is a cost to businesses because when you do lose it, it ends in reactivity, it ends in communication stalls, it ends in, you know, especially from a leadership position, is if they feel as though they are not safe, and this is why it's important for workplaces to make them feel safe. If they feel as though it's not safe to take that pause, right, because they're being perceived as, oh, they're being lazy because they've gone outside for a relax. It's not a relax. Because that's a business investment. They come back and they will be able to perform. They will not be shouting at people. They will not be 100%. Angry. Their anger would have taken down, and it impacts so many. It will impact the whole organisation. Yeah. It's something so simple can have such profound results and make so much. it will transform the workplace.
100%.
Transform.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Well, I love today. So thanks, Nicole. You don't have to heal by trying harder. You heal by feeling safe. And that's going to stay right in here because it applies to all of the things we do. So thanks. I've learnt lots and written heaps of notes.
I think as well is that just for businesses, if we do have business owners out there as well, is like actually organisations have a duty, probably get into trouble for saying that, but to actually make their employees feel safe so that they can have a internal pause. They don't have to say, oh, I'm just going out for an internal pause. They go out and there's that level of trust with your employees and that they can go out and do it. And organisations need to allow them that space where they can, because when they come back, they're back on track. But employees need to start for the psychological safety and the growth of their business. They need to be able to do that. So I think, yes, they give permission themselves, but organisations must support this too, because that is what's going to make a difference in the workplace and on a gigantic level.
Yeah. And I think that's probably why so many people used to take those smokers breaks, because that cigarette, right, was their 5-minute pause. Not healthy, however.
Well, it's a deep breath.
But it was a 5-minute pause.
And if you look at it from a from a physiological point of view, you're actually taking in breath. So you actually, it's true though, right? You're breathing in and you're doing that. So you actually are, plus you're getting all the nicotine and all the crap. But
yeah.
I know.
But it is the take 5. We've done it, lived it for so long. Is that sort of take 5? I need to have 5. I've heard my team members say it before. I need to take 5, and that take 5 certainly can help people reset and pause. So it's amazing. Thank you. Our vision with this podcast is simple. Burnout, business and body aren't separate. They're connected. When you take care of all 3, you don't just survive life, you thrive in it. We're here to motivate, educate and encourage you to take care of what matters the most, which is you. And if you'd love to know more, please subscribe, like and follow. We can work with you individually or as a team to help you improve burnout, business and body using our 8-step growth master plan. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you for having us. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, girls.